present this. They asked if we needed a microphone. Okay, we're gonna project.
Ireland girls are not quiet.
Okay. So David writes, Grandma was so extremely kind and warm, a warmth that was quiet but very sensitive. She was an extraordinary listener. I would wake up, especially early, when she and Papa would come to visit, in order to converse with her alone while the house was still quiet. I was never a big talker, but with Grandma it came so very naturally. The trips to Columbus to visit Grandma, Papa, and Buba were the highlights of my childhood. She loved her family above all else and was so proud of all of her grandchildren in their own unique way. She saw the best in all of us and hoped that we would be happy in our lives.
As I reflect now on Grandma, there was also a certain sadness, a feeling of loss that she kept to herself. In her final years, she lost the ability to keep them hidden and hinted of a longing for youth and innocence free from the burdens of life. To be a granddaughter, a daughter, and a sister once more. The circle has now closed, but her goodness and self-sacrifice will perpetuate and remain an inspiration to us. Rest in peace, dear Grandma. Love, David.
And I'll just share a few different memories. As I was driving in today, I just was thinking, oh, it's such a short drive. But then I'm like, well, when we were younger, it seems like forever.
So many snacks.
We had pillows and blankets. Like how long? I remember we used to try to explain how long the trip was by how many episodes of television is it, you know? And that was before you could actually watch TV in the car. So it was like, this is a very long trip. And like Yossi, Joseph mentioned, when Papa and Grandma would come and visit, it was the best. There was one time, I think you guys were in Israel, and Grandma actually was living with us for a short period of time. Succotash, right?
Yeah.
I have the taste
succotash
of those green beans still in my mouth. They were amazing. But driving down Columbus and spending that week there was, like Yossi said, it was just so awesome and so special. And I remember when we all came down and it was a big family reunion, and I recognize you to this day from that experience. And I think back, it's crazy. My kids all summer, they're looking forward to going to the farm. Now, this isn't the farm that we're going to, but we go to the farm now every summer, all the cousins, all together. And it's like this, like you talk about this full circle, like it's the next generation of cousins being all together and going to the farm. And I don't really consider myself like a farm girl generally, but there is something about like, but I find myself saying now, I want to buy a farm. I want to just be like, and I think they're like, it's in our blood to just appreciate the world that we live in. And it's so mind-boggling when you think of Grandma's life, what she saw from the beginning of her life. It's like she lived in so many different worlds. She used to describe how they would do laundry like in the little stream. I'm like, you really did? There wasn't television, it wasn't color, and now we have TikTok. Like, it's unbelievable, like what one woman experienced. She was so blessed to have such a long and full life, going to the Ohio State Fair and Smokey the Bear and the Lumberjack show, right? Just so many wonderful memories. And you know, my siblings at least joke that Grandma's always asking, where's Rachel? Oh, you're nice, but where's Rachel? They make up a story. I don't think it's true that she used to brush my teeth for me when I was younger. I don't know that that's true.
You just go, Grandma, ready.
Okay, so I feel like in the Ireland family, if you say something long enough, it all of a sudden becomes like as if it was factual. So
maybe, but this happens to be true.
I don't know if it was. But there is a concept in Jewish mysticism that even when somebody passes away, especially, you know, in that week, that their soul really is still very much with us, and that they can hear everything that we say. So I also want to address Grandma, who I do believe very strongly can hear what we're saying, and I think that's why you experienced that feeling of love, because she is very present. You know, we consider the body to be like clothing to the soul, and you know, a shirt is not who I am, and a body is not who we are. And I want to say thank you to Grandma for loving all of us in the way that only she could, for taking care of us, for brushing my teeth, if that really was true, but for everything she really did. She was just a very special person to all of us. And I just think there is a beautiful prayer. It comes from Proverbs, and it talks about the woman of valor. And at the end, it talks about her sons will come up and praise her. And I think it's such a beautiful, you talk about full circle again, that at the end of her life, Brian cared for her for a very long period of time. And then Eric and Teresa cared for her for a long period of time. And then Tati and Yossi cared for her. And it's just such an unbelievable blessing that you were able to give it back to her. And what an unbelievable sense of fulfillment that everything she gave to each of you, you were able to give back to her, which is so, you know, as a mother, that is the greatest praise to somebody, that their children will come back. And I will say, I thought it was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad idea that she was gonna come and be at Algard. I said, oh, this is not gonna go well. It sounds great in theory, but it's gonna be too hard. And I was so wrong, because I think it really was very special for us and my children and her great-grandchildren, who otherwise wouldn't have been able really to visit her and to see her. And one of my favorite, you know, recent memories, one of my last memories of Grandma, I brought my little